I pretended to be deaf for 3 months at my new job. Yesterday, my boss made fun of my disability not knowing I could hear everything. I never planned to pretend I was deaf. It started as a misunderstanding on my first day at the marketing firm when my new coworker Sarah assumed I couldn't hear after I didn't respond to her calling my name. I was just focused on setting up my computer. Instead of correcting her, I panicked and went with it. Why I'd been fired from my last 3 jobs for not being a culture fit parent code for being too quiet and awkward in an industry that values extroverts. When Sarah immediately started treating me with patience instead of the usual judgment, something broke inside me. I decided to see how differently people would treat me if they thought I had a reason for my quietness. I learned basic ASL online, carried a notepad, and communicated through text and email. The company provided accommodations without question. People wrote things down, faced me when speaking, and most importantly, they didn't expect me to speak up in meetings or make small talk. For the first time in my career, my work was being judged solely on its quality. My performance reviews were stellar. My boss Richard praised my exceptional focus and unique perspective. I was finally thriving professionally, though the guilt of my lie grew heavier each day. Then yesterday happened. I stayed late to finish a project and was in the break room when Richard and 2 senior managers walked in, not noticing me in the corner. "How's the deaf girl working out?" one asked. Richard laughed. "She's actually our best designer. I just wish we could cure her so she could present her own work. Such a waste having to have someone else speak for her. At least you don't have to worry about her gossiping," the other joked. "And she can't hear you coming, so no slacking off?" They laughed and Richard added, "Plus, we're getting those sweet diversity points for the company newsletter, inclusive workplace, and all that PR gold." I sat frozen coffee cup halfway to my lips. They continued making jokes about how they could say anything around me because it's not like she can hear us. Richard even admitted he sometimes just nods at my ideas without reading them because it's easier than trying to communicate when they finally notice me. Richard waved casually, confident in my disability. That's when something in me snapped. I stood up, looked Richard directly in the eyes, and said in my perfectly normal voice, "I quit." The color drained from their faces. Richard stammered, You can hear every word, every joke, every time you nodded without reading my ideas. I've heard it all." I walked out, leaving them in stunned silence. My phone has 47 missed calls from each Richard. "This morning I received an email from the company CEO requesting a meeting. But currently the senior managers," reported Richard, not realizing I'd been faking too. "Now I have to decide whether to come clean about my own deception or that Richard take the fall alone. The truth is, we both created a fiction that suited our needs. Pant mine let me work in peace, and his let him feel superior while exploiting where he thought was my disability."